Well guys, it's Wednesday morning, I think the 4th of March. Nice sunny day. A couple big puffy clouds here and there. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to rain this afternoon. Last night at 5 o'clock, it was 5 to 6 or so, somewhere in there. It poured like you wouldn't believe. Didn't last long. Got rid of all the snow that was on the ground here pretty much. And then it snowed, and this morning when we woke up, I didn't get the photograph of it because my battery was dead in the camera, but we were covered with snow here an hour ago. So my neighbor was here, the old guy, and he can't drive his truck anymore because it's so rusted underneath that they won't inspect it. I told him I'd sell him one of my trucks cheap, but he doesn't have the money for it, and I can't give them away. So anyway, he was driving one of the kids' cars, I think. So he was here and stopped by to say hi, and that was about it. So pretty nice today. It's around 41. I'm still wearing some of my winter clothes, but with this nice sun, it's 100 degrees already in the kiln. And look at the sawmill, you can actually see the whole thing. We lost a lot of snow last night. It's supposed to snow, I think, tonight and either tonight and tomorrow, or to skip a day and somewhere it's supposed to snow in there. I don't know what it's going to do anymore. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm going to do some checking out on the sawmill, see how things go. I see that where I spray painted it, it pretty much lasted through the snowy season, and I'm glad of that. So I'll talk to you about what I do with the sawmill here. I'm not going to cut anything. I just want to warm it up and make sure the battery's charged and stuff. Clean it off a little bit. Well guys, since there's no ice on the road, I had to empty our big ash pail. So I put it where I put fill, where I'm filling in an area behind the garage over there. So I had to do that this morning. And then I'm going to get to the sawmill in a couple minutes. I needed to get 6 buckets of coal. I already got 4. There's 2 more there to get. And the one thing I didn't say about, burning coal, firewood and stuff that you got to carry is, if you're sick, you still need to keep the fire going. Now, luckily we have backup propane and backup electric. But what I'm saying is, if you didn't have those backup things and you were sick, and your wife was sick as well, and you can't get out of bed, right, you're going to have to do something. So what I try to do is I try to keep 9 buckets of coal in there, which most of you know that, in on the porch, so that it's not so far to get it from the porch to the fire. If I got to get dressed, come outside, get coal, all I'm doing is making myself sicker if I'm already sick. So that's what I'm going to do today, just in case. And it's supposed to snow tonight or tomorrow or the next day or some other time between now and 1st of May, I guess. So we'll see what we can do to keep ahead of the game. And we've been keeping ahead of the game pretty well so far. So anyway, that's what we're going to do, and then I'm going to go over by the sawmill for a while. I'll tell you one thing about today. The breeze is blowing pretty good. I don't know if you can hear it there, but you can see. It's blowing pretty good, and that feels cold, sort of. But the sun, as soon as the breeze stops, the sun, man, oh man, you can feel it right through your coat quick. It doesn't take long to warm you up. So the sun's getting pretty high already in the sky. Winter's just about to the end. We got another, like I say, about 2 months yet. We'll see what happens here. The little groundhog guy for Pennsylvania said we were going to have an early spring. So this seems like spring, so I'm just going to look towards the good in it rather than be upset with the bad, I suppose. Well guys, it's 2:30 and it's actually snow flurrying now. So the temperature went from 41 down to 31. When I ate lunch it was 31 already. and it's still wet out, but the flurries are falling. So I don't think it's supposed to add up to anything much. So I wanted to take a good look at the sawmill, and I think you'll remember if you've watched my other videos that I had the logs had taken pretty much of the paint off of the bunk here and there. You can see this one here still has some off because after I painted it, I ended up doing a little bit of cutting, but it's not rusting like bad or anything. It's just the color of rust on the metal. So I think it's a good idea every year to paint that at the end of the year if you're gonna, you know, put the saw away for the winter, or whenever you get a chance, just to keep things in order. So everything this way is good on this end. And actually, before I put the saw away this past winter, and I knew I wasn't going to come over here, I pretty much made sure that everything was good with it as far as the oil and the battery and stuff like that. So what I like to do though during the winter time is to start it up and make sure that the battery stays charged, because if you don't charge the battery a couple of times, the battery goes dead. Even if it's brand new, it'll go dead, and then it won't recharge itself. It gets into some kind of, I don't know, predicament of some sort. But I know it happened with my truck, my white truck in the garage that I don't go anywhere with. If I don't charge that often, it gives me grief, and I can't use it. So I got about a third of a box of fuel there, gas, a third of a tank of gas. I have the tension tightened up on the blade. I want to keep the tension on the blade. I mean, I could probably, the reason for that is if I took the blade completely off, it would be different, but the blade's on there, so I'm just going to run it on there. Having the tension on the blade and running it does take some life out of it, but it's very little, and I just want to start this thing up so I can get it so that it's warmed up good. So you'll see the first time that I'm starting it for a while. No, I actually had it running 2 days ago, yeah. But I want to start it again. So you turn the gas on over on the tank, this direction. You give it a little bit of choke when it's cold out like this, and then just... This thing doesn't like the choke, so you got to be careful how much choke you give it. So I'm going to leave it idle there a little bit to warm up, and then I'm going to run it for about 15 minutes on full throttle so that the battery charges good. Well, there's a lot of dust in that thing. I thought I had cleaned that off before. It must be from the wind blowing out here on with the dust laying all over the place. So I'll let that run there for like 15 minutes. At least you should do it about once a month if you're not going to use the saw in the winter time. The worst would be 2 months. You know, don't go any more than 2 months. And if you're really cold like you guys up north, if some of you are really cold like down below zero all the time, I would try and run it maybe once a week just to start it up. Unless you're taking the battery out, then, you know, I guess you don't even have to run it at all. But I'm going to let this run for 15 minutes to charge up a little bit. You can see how much snow we have lost and how much is left in the actual woods where there's a little bit of shade, probably an inch or two. So, but you can see also that it's blurring. I think you can see it. So we don't have any blue sky anymore, and the sun is sort of hidden up there. You're looking right at it. So it's one thing after the other. I did pretty many of my chores today, so I'm pretty much going to call it quits for today. I'm starting to get kind of cold. Before you couldn't see my breath, or I couldn't see it while I was talking. Now I can see my breath while I'm talking, so it's getting colder out. It's not that bad. Like I say, there's still water on the ground. But, you know, if you want to keep the battery anyway on the mill charged, this is what I do. I just let it run. It keeps everything in shape. I already squirted oil yesterday on the blade and on the rollers, so that'll help to run them around a little bit and, you know, get oil where it ought to be. I'm gonna have to bring my compressor over here, the hose, and blow the sawdust off of this again. You'd be surprised, the sawdust is not really gritty, and it's not an abrasive, but it can pack tightly and get between things and cause measurements to change. So that's one of the reasons you want to keep the mill clean as you can. We've almost got the snow all off of the logs already. Oh man, I'm itching to cut. I just got to be patient for a little while. So before I put the mill away, I had sprayed the chain on it, you know, the rollers and different things, so that they're nice and oiled up through the winter. So, and I already knew how much oil was in it because I hadn't been running it, so that's why I didn't check it this morning. But so I'll let it go for 15 minutes, like I say, and then I'll shut it off. Some of the guys had said about how expensive the Wood Miser is, and I have to tell you that I really don't feel that the price of this LT15, the full-size LT15 with the rails that it has and all, I do not feel that this is overly priced. You know, I'm not saying it couldn't be a better price. I'm just saying it's not overpriced, if you ask me. I think they're asking a good price for it because it certainly holds up and does the job. I mean, we've been running it for 3 years, and I really think that it's a good sawmill. Some of you guys had asked me about this stick-on thing here, and it's magnetic. You see where it says Cage Hill Sawyer? 601-606-4907. If you want one of these, give that guy a call, and I'm sure he'll send you one. I don't know how much they are exactly, but they are nice. I mean, I have my paper one here, but you know, if you look at the paper one, it's already starting to get weird and stuff. So I actually like this. I think he has a nice idea there with that. So that's Cage Hill Sawyer, 601-606-4907. I think he's from down south. I'm not positive exactly. I got so many people talking to me, I can't remember where everybody's from. Anyway, I thought you might want to know that as well. So I did a little bit of brushing off on this thing. Not a lot. I'm finding out that the dust that's on there is just from the last log or so that I cut. You know, it's actually pretty flimsy stuff. It doesn't stick that hard. Once you touch it, it falls right off. Okay guys, so that's as far as I'm going today, because I just need to go in and take a little break for a while since I've been doing a lot of stuff. So I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.